Mr. Chairman, there's either a breakdown in the competitive model or there's not. And I guess what I'd like to do is just, I don't know who I should ask this of, but whoever has an opinion, chime in. If we have sufficient competition, describe it. If we don't have sufficient competition, describe that. In other words, what is preventing the competitive model from offering a la carte? I mean, where's the breakdown occurring?
Senator Johnson, if I might offer my perspective from my experience on this committee. I served here when Senator McCain was the chairman. I remember wrestling with the issue of a la carte. I will tell you that I have members in broadcasting who are for a la carte, and I have members who are against a la carte, and I'm with my members.
But again, why don't we have a la carte?
What I concluded at the time, I did not vote for it despite Senator McCain's considerable pressure, because I saw it as a new market, and as Michael just indicated in his testimony, there are tremendous market forces anyway that are creating kinds of adjustments. I foresaw a market developing that would keep pressure on this issue, and I believe, I can't speak for Michael, but I believe there are some cable offerings now and satellite offerings that are beginning to offer different kinds of packages.
I mean, is there simply not enough competition? Is there collusion? Or is there law or regulation that prevents a la carte pricing? That's really what I'm asking.
In terms of specific laws, in fact, I believe there are. For example, there are certain provisions such as the basic tier buy-through, where even if a cable operator wanted to offer, say, their subscribers a broadcast-free cable package, because after all, you can access over-the-air broadcast TV just with an antenna. What do you need to pay your cable subscriber for, your cable provider for that? However, they can't do that because there are rules passed by Congress and the FCC that prevent that flexibility. So I certainly support repealing those because I don't think they make a lot of sense anymore. On the broader point, I believe that online video is showing a lot of promise as the potential, the technological potential and the business model potential for online competition to MVPDs, to cable, satellite, and the telco video services. However, I don't think that they're directly competing with each other. You can see that just by looking at the prices. I think online video more competes with the video rental store, and we've seen what happens. We saw what happened to Blockbuster. I think that's much more of what that model approaches as opposed to cable. And that's what competition looks like. Blockbuster really had a change and is almost out of business. I'm not sure exactly what their business status is right now. But I don't see online video directly competing with cable right now, and I think that's why you don't see the cable providers really lowering their prices and offering as much flexibility. I've seen some improvement as we'd like.
But it has the potential, and there's really no legal impediment from the internet to be able to do that?
Well, the internet market right now, it can't get access to the same kinds of content, partly in response to the overall regulatory system, and most of the really must-see content is still available only on cable. So I think that's really that, and plus particular challenges like data caps and other things are what are preventing online video from becoming the full competitor. So right now, it's simply not a full competitor, but yes, in the unregulated online space, there's nothing stopping them. In fact, some online services like iTunes I mentioned before, I would characterize those as a la carte.
Mr. Powell, I get your point that just by going a la carte doesn't necessarily mean the service is going to be reduced. By the way, consumers are actually voluntarily paying these prices, so there is the marketplace actually working. But is it fair for some content to subsidize the other content, which is basically what you're doing is your bundle? I mean, why not let each individual program stand on its own and fight for its own audience?
Sure. A couple of things that I think might be informative. One, I would say the way the market is evolving, consumers have a la carte depending on the window and timing that they want to watch it. There's a distinction between I want to watch it in its live current premium window a la carte versus your willingness to wait sometimes the next day, sometimes a few days before it's available on iTunes or Netflix or many other services that offer those programming offerings just as a show bundle. Secondly, one of the big challenges in our market is the economics of funding high-value content. So the average television show today is $3 to $4 million an episode to produce. When it runs in the first window, it often runs on cable. in an effort to recoup some of that expense.
But again, if it's so good, won't people pay for that? If it's not quite so good, they won't pay for the price.
I think the challenge is, in a country committed to diversity of content, there would be a whole host of content that we would say collectively we value that probably would not survive being sold a la carte. This is one of the challenges of the television economic business. If you're standing alone, you're depending 100% on the subscriber base that you can attract, the advertising you can attract. The challenge is for niche audiences or minority audiences that have a high-intensity love for a particular kind of content or programming, that programming potentially would not be able to survive economically being distributed and sold solo, as opposed into a model in which the whole subscription model allows it to be
So
sold.
in other words, your association does support subsidizing certain program over other.
Well, I think an aspect of the cable model is it supports a wide range of diverse choices of channels that would be difficult to survive on their own. I do think that's a beneficial part of the cable model.
Okay, thank you.